Welcome to the Variety Module webinar. I'm glad you could attend. Sorry for postponing it last time. Before we start, this webinar is dedicated to the Variety Module and it will be recorded. To keep the recording as smooth and clean as possible, I'm going to give a presentation of 45 minutes and we will save 15 minutes for questions at the end. You have this bar, this Zoom toolbar that allows you to ask questions during the meeting. You have to click on the Q&A button. And our panelists, Dana and Ruven, will answer via the Q&A box. And if there are questions that require demonstration, they will be raised at the end. You can also see the raise hand button here. So if you are all ready to start, you can click on it so I can see that you are with me. And yeah, great. I see you are raising your hands. Perfect. Okay, you can unraise it and we shall start. Okay, let's start to define a variety. Whether if it's an inbred program or hybrid program, the breeder will develop potential varieties and make several versions of it until they reach the commercial variety. So you can see in the inbred program pedigree, you may have one or two versions of the potential variety. In hybrid programs as well, the breeder can make several versions of the same hybrid until they reach the same variety. So one variety may consist of multiple genotypes, germplasm, whether they are hybrids or inbreds, and each germplasm will have one or multiple lots, one or multiple observations, notations in fields in different locations. As you know, the Phenom 1 displays grids of inventory lots, of observations on plants, on plots. It displays also germplasm lists. And today we will learn where we store the variety list, where we store it and manage all the varieties. So what is the variety module for? I see three main points for the variety module. Firstly, this is a variety catalog of your company. All the varieties appears in one list. You can see each variety's portfolio, the pictures, the traits, their target, their tasks, and so on, their seed stock. So this is one main point, that you can gather all your varieties in one page and look at it from there. It also supports the product life cycle. So each company has its own variety stages to reach a commercial variety, and it supports the process from request to advance a stage until the manager approves a stage and go to the next stage. The third point is that each variety in the PLC process require tasks and many documentations, and they also both can be stored in the variety module. To access the variety module, you have to go through the top right menu button in Phenom 1. Open it, open the variety button, and this is opening a new tab, a new page. This is a single page application. And this page requires different permission access. So the permission that you have in the breeding is different from the permission that you have in the variety module. The module is also customizable. Meaning you can design your own variety code, your own variety traits, the PLC stages, the different list of approvers, and so on. So this is the main variety page. I call it the variety catalog. As you can see in this page, you display varieties from multiple crops. If it's hybrid programs or open pollinated programs, you can see them in one page. So some users, usually marketing users, prefer to see multiple crops on the same page. Other users like R&D and breeders will prefer to look at variety per crop. This is why we also have the possibility to access a list of varieties for each crop. This is the variety per crop button. You can choose your crop, and each one you can see the variety number. So here you have 29 varieties, and here you have 3 varieties and 9 varieties and so on. So let me take you to the corn crop. Okay, if you select a variety from the list, you will see a new tab opens with the variety name, and under it you will see a list of tabs, sub-tabs that represent all the data of this variety. I will start with the description tab, the first tab. You can see this form is divided into system information and customized traits. The system information are coming from Phenom. It's the variety code that was provided, the corn research group, what is the name of the parents, in which stage it is. So this is coming from the system. And under it, you can customize a form that target variety traits. For example, the registration number, the segment, the main market I'm targeting this variety, the potential other markets that I can target, and so on. So this is fully customizable by you, and it addresses traits on the variety level. Next to the description tab, you have the profile tab. This tab takes data from the fields, from the Phenom 1, and presents the profile of the variety in terms of phenotypic traits, genotypic traits, images that were taken in the fields. You can see them in this tab. In addition, you will have the germplasm tab that presents the list of germplasm that belong to the same varieties. The observation tab, meaning in which fields, in which locations this was planted, and you can compare the result in the different location. In my example here, I have fields in Italy, in the Netherlands, and in France, and you can compare the observation of this variety in multiple locations. Same for inventory. You display the seed stock availability. How many lots do you have? What is the number of seeds? Where are they stored? And so on. Do you have enough seeds for the next version, for the next stage? Okay, so now let's see how this module can support the product life cycle. As I said, each company has its own variety stage. Here I had a simple example of 4 stages, H1, H2, H3, H4. And there is an approval process to move from one stage to another, kind of a protocol that requires to move from one stage to another. The process starts from Phenom 1, by the way, in the field object. This is where the breeder ask to advance a variety. So let me take you to phenome. Just a second. Here I am. This is my field. I can either go to the plots tab or to the observation tab, look at my potential varieties, my list of germplasm. And here you can see that I have added new columns. These are variety columns. They are represented with this medal icon. And you can see that each germplasm that was ever advanced receive a variety code configured by you guys with a prefix and a serial number. This variety, for example, has a code already and the stage is at H1. Let's take one that doesn't have any stages. I can go to Action and click on Advance. Here I configured 4 stages. The first stages, I configured that it doesn't require any approvers. This is a very initial stage. I just want to say that it is starting the PLC program. When I click OK, it will not require any approval. It automatically moves it to stage H1 and provide a variety code. However, now I move to the next stage. I take a variety 103. I ask to advance it to H2, for example. In this case, you can see that this variety is still H1. It was not moved to H2, but in the stage info column, you see that a request was made and it's H2 pending. So they're waiting for someone to sign the move to H2. So when we go to the variety page, when you request to advance, it can be that one or several approvers will have a request pending in the request tab. These are all the pending requests from that user. Also, they will receive an email notification. So they don't need to go and check in the variety page if they have pending request. They get a notification to their email with the variety code, some information about the variety, and they can go directly from the email to the variety page and observe the variety in order to approve or decline. The approvers can be ordered. If I have more than one approver, I can say that one has to approve. Only when he approves, I send the request to the other approver. Or I can say that all approvers will get the notification together. You can see that under the Request tab, there is a tracking of who and when each stage was approved. So for example, the request here was done by Yaniv to move to H2 and was approved in this date. The second stage to H3 is still pending. If I open the little plus here, I can see that I have 2 approvers, one already approved, and we are waiting for the second approver to approve in order for the status to be approved and move to the next stage. So once the approver goes over the variety details, they can either choose to approve or decline or ask for more information. Let me go to the system again. When I move to the variety page, you can see that I have, I refresh, I just had an advancement request. I can see that I have two pending requests. One of them is my variety MH103. So I can go to MH103, look at the description tab as I showed before. If there's something that I need to edit here, I go to Action, Edit, and edit the form. Okay, I can change the market or I can add more information. This is to enter values in the description tab. The profile tabs display the traits coming from the system, the Phenom1 from the field. By the way, you can choose which traits to push into the variety modules and which remain only breeding columns. So this is also configurable. What do you display in the profile tab? I can look at the images. I can look at how many versions do I have of the same variety. I can see how many observations I have. I can compare the different results in the different locations. And I can go to the inventory tab, look at the seed stock, the availability of the seeds. And then I decide whether to approve or not approve this stage. I click on Action from the Request tab and click on Respond, Approve. You can see that this variety disappeared from the Request tab. It's not in my to-do list anymore. If they approve, all the approvers approve, it is also possible to send this variety to users that we call viewers. Viewers are users that only access the variety profile for read-only, for information. I think this is a nice way to share variety information to a large set of people within the company and provide the variety portfolio so they can look at it once it's approved. It's relevant for managers and so on. Once you approve a stage, you can, the system can generate automatically a bunch of tasks in order to prepare the next stage. So I'm going to my variety again. Here I have a task that some of them were successfully done and others that are pending. So before I request to move to the next stage, I need to fill in some tasks. Some tasks may contain documentation, so I can go to one task and attach a document. I can also attach a document link in case I have this information on another system. You can share a link and go to that link directly. Each task can be done or not, and it can also done, but the status can be failed. I've done PCR, but it failed because of this and that, and you can add a comment. Of course, you can make it a success. So each one has its own color. This one is failed, this one is success. You can see, by the way, that some of the tasks were added automatically. It's because I just approve H2. It is adding me other tasks for the next stage. Okay, we go back to the presentation. So we reviewed all the tabs of each variety. We reviewed how to request to move to a stage, how the approvers is looking at all the data, at the task, the notation, the seed stock, and so on, and decide whether to approve or not. Now we cannot finish this training without talking a little bit about configuration. As I said, this module is configurable, is customizable. I'm just going to show a part of it. Under the configuration button on the left side, you will have a possibility to customize, first of all, the stages. So let me show you live. I go to the configuration button. You can configure the stages. Remember that we are talking about many crops here. So there are stages for hybrid crops, stages for open pollinated crops. There are also stages for parental line. If you need to approve the parents of the hybrids as well, then you can set a kind of advancement process also for the parents of these hybrids. And you simply add a stage, you define it, what kind of stage it is for hybrid, for parental line, open pollinated, and who will be the approvers for this stage and who will be the viewers for this stage. You can also customize traits. As I said, these traits represent variety traits. So they appear only in the variety page. You can create them like you create variables in Phenom with scales, predefined options, and so on. And they appear in the description tab. The tasks are also configured here. You can add as many tasks as you need, and then you can assign the task to the stage. So for H1, I only need 2 tasks, but for H2, I need 5 tasks, and etc., etc. So this is where I assign the task per stage. The last button here is the variable permission. This is to limit the variables that I want to present from the breeding part to the variety page. So what are the traits, the variable from Phenom 1 that will be pushed to the variety page? So I can also define it by groups. So some users will see more or less variables than other users. So you will create user groups for each research group, and you will give them a set of variables that they are allowed to see. That's for the configuration button. There are all kind of permissions that are also configured in the organization panel for all the administrators that will manage who has access to the variety page and to which crop and so on. But this, if you want more information, you can go to our knowledge base and get more info about it. So I guess I finished. I want to summarize this. I will summarize first, and then I will turn to all the questions. As I said, the variety page is, first of all, the catalog of your company's varieties. Of all the crops. It is arranged quite nicely with all the information about each variety. It supports the product life cycle. It supports tasks and documentations that are required for each stage. And that's it. As I said, you have the knowledge base that is now up and running in our site, knowledgebase@phenomnetworks.com. You can find there all the training material that is relevant. The webinar will also be uploaded there. And now I will go to questions. Okay, there is a question about if I can demonstrate the process for open pollination. So sure, I'm going to my varieties per crop. You can see here that I'm on the corn crop, but I can change. Wheat, for example, is an open pollinated variety. You can see that the type is different, that the stages are different, and I can do the same, go to the field, advance the stage to G2, and approve the stage for G2. I don't know if I have it like this ready, but just let me check. If I take one of the varieties here, let me open one. So I can see that this variety is under these fields in F6, location A, location B, location C. Can go there. So let me bring Phenom again. This is my wheat research group. I can go to F6 location A, location B, location C, and display, of course, the variety columns. By the way, this is how we display it. We search for them in the defined germplasm column. I will take them to the front. Okay, you can see this is one variety. I can ask to advance. This time the stages are different. The task can be different. The approvers are different, and so on. So you can see that the process is exactly the same. I hope that this is answering the question. Let me have a look also at the Q&A questions. I will try to answer some of them as well. There is a question from Yael. How do you add a variety to the variety module? So this is a very good question. I did not address that. And this is the upload, the possibility to upload a list of varieties. As you upload the germplasm set, if you have varieties from the past that you want to integrate in the system, you can click on upload, and it uploads a list of variety with the variety name and all the trait information that you have entered into the system. So the upload process is also quite straightforward and allows you to import the varieties from the past. Another good question here, if I make a selection in one of the parents, does the system know to give it the same variety name, or do I have to advance it again? The answer is yes. As I demonstrated in the pedigree chart in the beginning, maybe I will demonstrate it again. You might want to make several versions of the hybrid with advanced parents. So yes, the system recognized that the parents are from the same line, and it will consider it as another version of the same variety. This is what we call additional production, and of course, yes. Another question here, I saw you can upload. Can you also update varieties, or do you have to edit manually? Of course, you can edit manually, but if you make upload, if you don't add new varieties, this is updating the variety. There is a question to demonstrate the variable permission. Okay, I will do that. In order to limit the variables that you need to present, you have to go to the variable list in Phenom 1. And you have to create a label. So I have created a label called variety module. I hope you all know how we create labels. You select the variables that you want to include in the label, and you say add to label. You create a new label, variety module for PD, and you include the traits that you want for that label, and this label is later on attached to the group of users. So I go back to my configuration, variable permission, and I say the group I don't know, managers will have access to the research group corn, and will see the variable variety module for PD label. And here you decide if they need to see parents, or we need to hide the parents from that group. By the way, the user group is configured under the organization button. This is another lecture, but for permission, you can divide your organization into groups, into roles, and each role has its own, each user belongs to one of the groups. Okay, any other questions? I will be happy that the users that do use the variety module or intend to use it can raise the hand. So I would like to see the... There is a question here if I'm going to to share this presentation and also the recording. Of course, all the attendees will receive the presentation and the recording will also be placed under the knowledge base site. So can you raise hand to let me know if you are going to use it or already using it? Okay, I see the number growing. I hope that this presentation gave you an idea of what it can do. I encourage you to contact the Phenom support, the account managers, to get more help in integrating this module. It is available to anyone, and I think it is valuable for every seed company. I thank you all very, very much. Thanks for attending this meeting. Thanks for your question. I hope to see you again in our next webinar about our new mobile application that will be released very soon. I look forward to meet you there as well. Thank you all and have a very, very good day.